This week we have Uranus, the Great Awakener, shifting into Gemini for the next 7 years, and we have Saturn, teacher of Karmic Lessons, turning to retrograde motion in the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. All of this, an empowered moment and more in my new intuitive energy forecast for the week of Monday, July 7th through Sunday, July 13th, 2025. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger, here to do your weekly intuitive energy forecast. Okay, so for this week, we are going to be using the Gateway of Light Activation Deck by Kyle Gray. That's the main message for everyone. Your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Work Your Light Oracle Deck by Rebecca Campbell. So before we get into the stones of choice or the energy of this week, let's go ahead and close our eyes and do an empowered moment. So making sure your feet are flat on the ground if possible. Closing your eyes, relaxing your body, clearing your mind of all thoughts. Taking in a deep breath, and as you exhale, just releasing and letting go of all that your body, mind, and soul no longer needs to hold on to in these next few minutes. Visualizing golden white light of God's source energy universe all around you. The golden white light of guidance, protection, healing, unconditional love. Take a deep conscious breath, breathing in that golden white light into every cell of your body. As you exhale, letting your body relax even more. And this week we have 2 planets that are highlighted of very differing energies. Uranus, high vibrational, the Great Awakener, and Saturn, dealing more with third dimensional energies and karmic lessons. So let's visualize that we have these beautiful, healthy roots growing out of the soles of our feet and anchoring us into Earth Mother Gaia's healing energy. Those roots are going deeper and deeper down, moving through your Earth Star chakra, helping to ground you, bring you a sense of safety and security. Going all the way down to Earth Mother Gaia's heart chakra and connecting within her essence of nurturing, supporting energies. And this is like Saturn, grounding, anchoring into those energies. And then now let's visualize that you're raising your hands up to the sky, that there's beams of light coming out of all of your fingertips, going up, up, up into the farthest reaches of the heavens, moving through the soul star chakra, connecting with your higher self, moving all the way up to the highest realms of spiritual source. This is like Uranus connecting us to the God mind, connecting us to those higher vibrational energies of awakening. And as we're connected above and below, let's take in a deep breath, breathing in simultaneously the energies from Earth Mother Gaia up through the earth and into the soles of your feet, but also at the same time breathing down these higher vibrational energies from the highest realms the highest spiritual realms, down through that soul star chakra, your higher soul self, and into the very being of who you are. Deep breath now, big deep breath. Exhaling, blowing it out, both of those energies into every cell of your body from head to toe, grounding and centering, awakening, expanding. Taking another deep breath, doing the same. And one last deep healing, cleansing, activating, empowering breath. When you're ready, as you exhale, in your own time, you can open your eyes, returning to this time and place and space. So let's go ahead and get ready to look at our stones of choice for the special message card a little bit later. Okay, so the first stone of choice is Golden Healer Quartz. So the Golden Healer Quartz is great for cleansing and purifying lower vibrational energies in and around you. It amplifies your intentions. It promotes vitality and spiritual growth. It helps in removing negative or stagnant energy and promotes clarity of thought. Helps bring desires and aspirations to fruition. And enhances one's personal power. It relates to that solar plexus chakra, right? Of enhancing one's personal power. All right, let's set that aside. And then stone number 2 is beautiful purple lepidolite. So the lepidolite is great for emotional healing and spiritual growth. Helps ease anxiety and reduce stress. It enhances intuition and promotes a deeper connection to one's higher self. Helps with spiritual awakening, facilitating connection to the higher realms and your spiritual guidance. And of course, this relates to the crown chakra, opening up that crown chakra to higher wisdom and knowledge. Okay, and then the last stone of choice is selenite. Selenite promotes mental clarity. It calms the emotions. It enhances spiritual connection, facilitates communication with the higher realms and your spirit guides, enhances intuition, psychic abilities, and spiritual awareness, and it has a high vibrational protection energy. And this, of course, also kind of relates to that crown and soul star chakra area, moving us up into the angelic and higher realms. So again, your stones of choice are the Golden Healer, the lepidolite, and the selenite. Okay, so go with what your intuition says today. Sometimes sometimes we have a favorite stone or we like a stone, but sometimes when we look at the stones, we're just attracted to something different in that moment, and that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the astrological energies of significance this week. Not a lot going on, but very powerful things going on. We start out on Monday, the 7th of July, with Uranus, the Great Awakener, moving into Gemini. Now, this is very profound because it spends 7 years in each sign of the zodiac. So it's already been in Taurus for a good 7 years. Now it's moving into Gemini for 7 years. It will revisit Taurus between November 7th until April of 2026 because it'll be in a retrograde motion and bounce back into Taurus one last time. But after that November to April 2026 time period, it moves back into Gemini for good. So this is a little sneak peek between now and November 7th when it's in Gemini that we'll get to see what might be transpiring over the next 7 years. I think it's going to be very fast-paced. I think there's going to be a lot of new technology and information and communication things going on. Uranus, again, is that Great Awakener, connects with the God mind. It's about sudden, unexpected, future-oriented sorts of energies, inspiration, innovation. It's rebellious. It's the kind of that rebel of the zodiac. And Gemini, of course, rules the mental realm. So thoughts, ideas, perceptions, perspectives, communications, information, logic. So all of this is going to get a little bit of a pick-me-up, a little bit of a kick. And so we might see, again, new scientific advances, inventions, innovations. Again, I think that, news and media, there's going to be some effect there. New technologies, which we're already kind of seeing, but I feel like that's going to just speed up in the unfolding of it all. So that's going to be exciting. On a personal level, though, Uranus and Gemini can awaken our mind, awaken our mental powers, awaken our intuition, like claircognizance especially, maybe clairaudience too. I feel like these new ideas and inspirations are going to come to us like flashes of insight. I do feel like Uranus and Gemini, especially as it first goes in there, or it's, going back and forth here for a little bit, you might have a little bit more trouble sleeping at night or need less sleep because, Gemini is a very nervous, anxious energy. Uranus is like a lightning bolt. It's very electrical in nature. So with that kind of buzzing energy, again, maybe you're going to have trouble sleeping or just need less sleep. Your nervous systems might be a little bit more activated, so you're a little bit more jittery, nervous, or anxious. So we're going to need to take extra care to calm and ground and center and be out in nature to help absorb those extra kind of chaotic energies in our system. Also on Monday, the 7th of July, we have Venus, which is in Gemini as well. And it's going to be in a positive aspect to Pluto, which is in Aquarius. Those are both air signs. And so this is, again, the mental realm of thoughts and ideas and communication. Now, Venus rules love and relationships. She also rules personal resources like money and finances. While she's in Gemini, she's a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more flirtatious, a little bit more curious, a little bit more social. And so that bodes well for connecting maybe with new people, new relationships, or having great communication with the relationships that you have. Within money and finances, there might be multiple projects going on. Gemini is that sign of the twins, right? So we have two or maybe even more various projects and activities that are going on that can maybe produce some financial abundance. Now, Venus also rules our sense of self-worth. And Gemini tends to vacillate. So as far as our sense of self-value and self-worth, we could be vacillating a little bit. One day we might feel really good and empowered about ourselves, and the next day, maybe not so much. But when it's trining Pluto, this is going to be an empowering aspect. A trine is a positive connection, and Pluto is an empowering planet. And it is about transformation. So again, there could be transformation and empowerment within relationships, money matters, and how we feel about ourselves going on. On Thursday, the 10th of July, we have a full moon at 18 degrees of Capricorn. Full moons are about releasing and healing. Something's coming to culmination as the moon gets full. Capricorn is a sign that rules responsibility. It rules career. It rules who we are out in the world, our destiny path or life purpose. Capricorn can also, on a collective level, rule the third dimensional paradigm of energies, government institutions, political, people, etc., etc. So there may be something on the collective worldwide scale going on in regards to that bigger picture of the patriarchal system. But as far as us personally, that full moon in Capricorn can kind of like expand and highlight, again, a vision of our purpose or, how we feel about our life path. And again, we're also needing to take maybe extra responsibility for the choices and decisions we're making. This particular full moon is in a positive connection to Mars, who is known as the warrior planet of the zodiac. He's the planet of energy, action, and forward movement, but is currently in Earth sign Virgo. And with Mars in Virgo, he's putting his energy and attention towards paying attention to all the little steps and all the little details and just kind of going, little by little. It's not like some big expansion here. It's like, let's make a list, let's have a strategy, and let's continue to move forward. Let's use our logic, because Virgo is about analysis and logic. And, this could bode very well for like work, career, again, projects that we're working on that will gain us maybe some attention and recognition in the larger capacity of things. And then on Saturday, the 12th of July, we have Saturn, the great teacher of karmic lessons, the teacher of responsibility, turning to retrograde motion at 1 degree of Aries. It's almost at 2 degrees of Aries. It's only at 4 minutes away. So one degree and 56 minutes of Aries, and it turns retrograde. So, this is a planet that's newly in that first sign of the zodiac, and Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, rules our sense of independence. It's our sense of self and our individuality, our confidence, our courage, our leadership, our take charge ability, our ability to initiate new things. And Saturn can be about structure and form and manifestation. So it's restructuring our self-identity. It's restructuring our inner confidence and courage. It's restructuring our ability to be a leader and take charge in life. So Saturn is retrograding and turning the energies inward. So we're looking for this inner responsibility within ourselves about, again, the choices and decisions that we're making, the karmic lessons that we're learning. We're taking responsibility for our part in it, and we're taking responsibility that we as a soul chose those lessons before we incarnated. So, we might as well learn the lesson to be able to move forward. While Chiron is retrograde, which is until November 27th, we have time to figure that out. And actually, it's going to retrograde all the way back to 25 degrees of Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, before turning back to direct motion on November 27th. So, with it going back from the first degree of the zodiac to the last degree of the zodiac, we're needing to finish something, right? There's some sort of like past karmic lesson, maybe in the past few months as Saturn moved into Aries to begin with, we thought, okay, we're done with that karmic lesson. We've completed that. We've learned that lesson. Now we can move on into something new and we can manifest something different. With it revisiting Pisces, it's going to give us a second chance, perhaps, to make sure that that lesson is really complete. So just kind of a heads up, we might be revisiting some old concepts, old lessons, old situations, old circumstances, old relationship dynamics, etc., before we can completely move out of that. And it'll move back into Aries in early 2026. And then it won't revisit Pisces again for a good long time. All right, so that's a little bit about the astrology for the week. Let's go ahead and see what our angels and guides have to say as far as a message. Now, those of you that have watched my videos know that I usually use a tarot deck for the main message for everyone, but I was guided to change it up a little bit. And this Gateway of Light activation deck, it's actually a divination deck. But because we had such profound energies with, that Uranus, Great Awakener, moving into a new sign of the zodiac for 7 years, and Saturn, ruler of karmic lessons, turning to retrograde motion, I felt guided to use the Gateway of Light activation deck, and we'll see how it works. We'll see what comes out for this week. All right, so the first card is called the Temple of Truth. The Temple of Truth, and it says throat chakra. That kind of makes sense to me. I'll tell you why in a minute. Throat chakra and authenticity and self-expression. And even the image itself, it's like this light blue, almost in the realm of turquoise blue, kind of flowing out between these two rocks, which actually looks like a gateway, right? It's like it's sliced on both sides, so it looks like a little doorway into a new realm or a little gateway into another dimension. But the light blue and white energy is flowing like the water flowing through those two rocks. And that's the color of the throat chakra. Now, Uranus, again, is going into Gemini. Gemini rules communication, information, right? Self-expression and sharing your logic and your ideas with other people. So I feel like this is saying we need to open that throat chakra. It does list throat chakra there at the bottom. So let's open our throat chakra. And I feel like some of us are going to be channeling more energies, channeling more information. That might be verbally in communications, that might be in the written word as you're blogging or writing in some capacity, or even journaling for yourself. We're going to be in a, what do I want to say, a stronger connection to Source God, which is Uranus. You know, Uranus is said again to rule that God mind inspiration, like the claircognizance of revelations and information and downloads that kind of come to us through that crown chakra. So be your authentic self. That's another great keyword for Uranus. Uranus is about beating to the beat of your own drum. You know, remember I said Uranus is like the rebel. It's rebellious. So it beats to the beat of its own drum, and it is in its authenticity. It is being your authentic self, not wearing a mask, not pretending you're somebody else that you're not dumbing down for anybody around you or for any situation. It is just really being authentic. And then that last one is self-expression. So again, we're back to this open, honest, kind of clear communication and just expressing our thoughts, expressing our ideas, expressing our perspectives on things. And again, being authentic about it. It doesn't mean we have to push our ideas and thoughts onto somebody else or make them believe what we believe, but we can still express it. Don't bite your tongue, don't hold on to your words. Really just express your truth in all situations. That's what this card is saying, the Temple of Truth. So that makes sense. We also have this like reverberation out, right? So I feel like once you do it the first time and the second time, it just increases. It reverberates out into the universe. And I feel like also it has a domino effect. I feel like, you know, some of us that speak our truth and continue to open up in order to do so, it's like a domino effect for the rest of the collective to kind of do the same. That's what I feel like is going to happen. All right, let's look at the second card. And the second card says Emerald Tablet Activation. Emerald Tablet Activation. And it says Cosmic Ordering, Divine Alchemy, and Conscious Manifesting. Well, this really sounds like the Saturn going retrograde along with the full moon. Remember, the full moon in Capricorn occurs on the 10th of July. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And just 2 days later, after the full moon on the 12th, Saturn is turning retrograde. So because Saturn, the ruler of that Capricorn full moon, is turning to retrograde motion, it's going to really magnify his energies. And we don't necessarily want to magnify karmic lessons, but the positive of Saturn is manifestation, bringing something into structure and form, or restructuring our lives, or being responsible when we make conscious decisions for ourselves. So this really speaks to me as far as that emerald green energy of healing. We're healing all of these dynamics. The cosmos is reordering things. It says cosmic ordering. So there's a reordering that's happening with both of these, you know, all three of these really prominent energies that are going on this week. So there's a cosmic reordering. We are restructuring our sense of self here, and we're healing the dynamics that are out of alignment within our sense of self. There's some divine alchemical changes and shifting that's going on. I think that's a lot to do with the Uranus energies going to Gemini. And then the conscious manifesting. I mean, Saturn is, again, ruler of the third dimension, our lower consciousness, which is not a negative thing, but our ego consciousness. So we're consciously manifesting what it is that we desire. It's almost like raising up into the God mind energy, the higher cosmos energy of Uranus, and then anchoring in our vision and our ideas and what we want to create, anchoring it into the third dimension with Saturn's energies. So that's a really exciting energy as well. I'm just looking at the card and seeing what else might stand out. It feels, you know, like a Kundalini activation here. Now, you know, Saturn, again, the Kundalini sits at the base of the spine, right? But then it goes up, up, up. And so I feel like, again, with Saturn and Uranus being kind of in opposite poles, Saturn kind of being rooted energies and Uranus being high vibrational energies, there could be this Kundalini activation going on. You know, we've got this kind of golden beam of light with the activation energies kind of going up, up, and up. And this could have to be with, have to do with the Earth Star chakra. You know, if we were a human being, if this block here was a human being, our Earth Star chakra is 6 to 12 inches below the soles of our feet. So this is almost like grounding in and manifesting, again, this higher vibrational energy, the higher vibrational ideas and perspectives that we have, what we envision in our mind, we can bring down through our chakras and then manifest it. That's exciting. Let's look at the last card. Oh, this is very cool. I love this. This is called Akashic Stargate. In Akashic Stargate, it says at the bottom, aligned with purpose, crossroads, and there's no wrong path or no wrong path. So this looks like there's all these portals. There's all these windows or portals that are being opened. And the suggestion here is that you can walk through any of these portals and that there's no wrong one to walk through, right? It's like there's gateways and doorways to other dimensions that are opening, other possibilities, other types of situations and circumstances beyond what you've already lived through in your current lifetime. And also this would have a connection to your Akashic records, the Akashic Stargate. So we're able to move through, maybe to discover, to connect with, to understand on a deeper level our own Akashic records, pulling various positive and beneficial pieces of information or gifts and talents and abilities that we want to bring them into our beingness in this timeline. Now remember, there's no time and no space. So everything that we've been through as souls in all lifetimes is kind of overlapping in a sense. And it's all stored in the Akash. It's all stored in the Akashic records, your personal Akashic records. And, you know, there's Akashic records for the planet, you know, as a whole as well. But we can move through and connect with the Akash through this Akashic Stargate. And we can bring through the hope and the prosperity and abundance at the end of the rainbow. And we can bring through new horizons, and we can bring through traveling to other dimensions, other planetary systems. And, you know, all of these stargates seem to kind of portray a little bit different energy. And again, as it says, we are at a crossroads. So it might be like we're leaving the old third dimensional situations and energies behind, both outside of us and within us. And we're moving into, at this crossroads, we're moving into the new, the higher, the different, a new level of beingness and new situations and opportunities that are coming up. Now remember, again, there is different perspectives and there's different decisions and different paths, but there's no wrong ones. Every choice we make is about learning. And so even in what someone might say is a wrong choice or a bad choice, we're still learning as a soul. So there's really no wrong choices. So I like the first line. Going back, we're going to end with that first line that says aligned with purpose. So align with your higher purpose and move forward through one of these open stargates. Okay, let's go ahead and see what special message you have depending on your stone of choice. Again, this is the Work Your Light Oracle deck. All right, so the first stone of choice was the Golden Healer. Special message for this week for the Golden Healer people. Special message for Golden Healer people. This one's calling my attention. Aw, soul family. I love this. So we've got two people. I'm not sure if it's two women or a man and a woman, but they're facing one another. Their hands are touching. We've got two, I I think there's 2 whales up here and 2 dolphins down here, the ocean in the background, and Soul Family says, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. So with these higher vibrational energies, I really feel like this has to do with Uranus, the Great Awakener, moving into Gemini, sign of communication, right? So get out there and network, get out there and meet people, socialize. Gemini is a very social sign. It likes variety. It likes to kind of flit from one experience to another. So as you get out and about and communicate and you network with people, you're going to call in those people that are more aligned with you this week. And I think for the weeks coming up, I don't feel like it all happens this week, but you're going to align with people that get you, with people that are aligned with the same kind of energy as you. Doesn't mean they're exactly the same as you, but their belief systems are very similar, right? And they're all here like you are to assist people in some way, support people in some way, love yourself, heal yourself, support one another. And that's the energy you're going to be calling into you. We've got a lot of kind of purple. I'm going to think it's lavender. So lavender might have a special kind of healing property that you might want to look up. Maybe you want to wear a lavender essential oil or burn a lavender candle or something of that nature. Lavender is very calming and very healing. So that purple energy also is like crown chakra energy, which again goes back to Uranus, the Great Awakener. So there's this higher vibrational kind of energy going on here, the peacefulness of the water, which can be signifying our emotions. So we're going through emotional healing and an emotional calm. And the pinkish purple is this higher heart chakra, love energy. Again, the purple, awakening to higher vibrations. So this is a lovely card. You're calling in your soul family. So that's great. Let's look at the next stone is the lepidolite. Okay, special message for the week for lepidolite people. Lepidolite. This one's calling my attention here in the middle. Okay, so before I show you the card, if there was a question that you had, if you were wondering about moving ahead or if it was a good time to do something, initiate something, okay, this is the answer. But now don't take it the wrong way. The answer, it says no, but it doesn't say never. It says no. It says wait, postpone, pause, and say no. Now, this is interesting because next week we actually have Mercury retrograde. Mercury has already been in its shadow since June 30th. So it's going to be going retrograde. Saturn turned retrograde. Seems like there was another planet that was going to go retrograde. I know Chiron's going retrograde at the end of the month. So we have a lot of retrograde planets, which means turning the energies inward, which means things slow down externally. So for those of you that chose the lepidolite, you might need to wait until after Mercury retrograde to begin something new, initiate something new, start a new project. If you've already been doing a project, you don't have to stop it or wait, because Mercury retrograde is a good time to continue on something that's already been started. But for brand new things or initiate a new direction, you might want to just wait and take a little bit of a pause. I also see that there's storm clouds here in the background and there's lightning bolts happening. So there might be a little bit of a stirring up of something, stirring up of some chaos or chaotic energies or situations, a little bit of a storm kind of coming in, metaphorically speaking. Some shocking insights, some unexpected revelations, or unexpected redirections that take place. That's the other thing with Uranus, is expect the unexpected. And there's often surprise energies and redirections, sudden redirections that happen. So, excuse me, some of you may be going through that. Sorry, you guys. I do see a pyramid in the background, but it's covered by the storm cloud. So I feel like the pyramid is the higher goal, what we're wanting to walk through. But again, we have to go through something first. That storm cloud is in front of the pyramid. The lightning bolts are coming out of the storm cloud. So it feels like probably in this month, We need to walk through something, learn something, get through something first before we're able to have more of an ability of pursuing what that goal is beyond that. Okay, so look at this week, or even this month probably, as learning something and moving through something to kind of clear out the energies, clearing out the lower energies, to make space and make room for moving into the something new. So again, this doesn't mean no forever. This just means maybe not right now. Okay, let's put that back in the deck. Let's see what the selenite people get. Special message for the week for selenite people. Selenite. Okay, the one on top is actually screaming at me. And it says, Keepers of the Earth. And it says, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. We've got this woman with her hands in a prayer kind of stance. But we've got these beautiful wings right here. And then we've got a big angel up here with wings. There's even wings here. There's lots of wings here. So obviously this is saying you have a lot of angels, archangels, ascended masters, ancestors, as it says here, that are behind you, that are helping you, that are assisting you, that are guiding you. So listen to the information. You are not alone. Even when you feel alone or lonely, or other human beings don't seem to be there for you, maybe it's because they're going through their own stuff. It doesn't mean they're trying to ignore you necessarily. But know that you always have your spiritual family, your spiritual ancestors, those of the highest vibration of light that are assisting and guiding you. We also have animal totem right here. It looks like a mountain lion or a cougar. So for those of you that really like the cat family, or even if you don't, look up mountain lion totem or cougar totem. What is that message of the mountain lion and the cougar trying to tell you? There is a pair of them too. Not quite sure what the pair of them means. They're not really telling me anything as far as that goes. But there's even a pair of orca whales here. So also look up the orca as in an animal totem. So we've got two orcas, we've got two cougars, we've got two hands in prayer position, and many sets of two wings. So there's something about duality here, something about, again, old paradigm of energy versus new paradigm of energy. You know, do you want to stay in the old paradigm of energy? Or do you want to change yourself, change your direction, change how you feel about things, and change your perspective and move into a new paradigm of energy? That's what I feel about that. There's also some planetary energies. She's got this kind of lavender colored looking planet behind her, but then above that there's kind of a more pink and purple kind of planet on top of that. So there's something about paying attention to your astrology and the astrological transits that you have going on in your chart right now. Maybe specifically where Saturn retrograde is happening in your chart and where Uranus is moving into Gemini in your chart. That might give you some information that is going to be very helpful in maneuvering the next few weeks ahead. Okay. All right, I think that's all I'm getting for that. So thank you so much. Remember, please, to check out my website, my new website. I'm so excited. ColleenLemma.com. Okay, so no longer SacredSoulEmpowerment.com, although I think if you still go there, you're going to be redirected, at least very soon. If not, while this is now kind of available. But ColleenLemma.com, check out the new website, the new look, the new feel. There is one or two new kind of things going on there with the website as far as services, and there's going to be some new things on the shop page and things like that. So really excited to get your take, and I want to thank you all so much for your love and support all these years as we continue to meet every week and every month. Sending you all lots of love and light and many, many blessings. Namaste, everyone.